In a field far away from Coronet City, a young girl lays in a field beside her twin brother as they dream about their future, not knowing how much pain that dream will hold out. Darth Sestriss, or Layla, depending on who you're asking, was born minutes after her twin brother Nim on 3680 BBY to Varen and Layla Versalla. They would raise the twins away from the restless capital city of Coronet, both of them having left their more exciting lives behind to start a family of their own. Both Layla and Varen had lived difficult lives fighting for a year in the Great Galactic War. For a brief summary of the Great Galactic War, I would normally pass you off to my colleague, Master Hawk, but she is sick and can barely speak. For now, I'd like to invite my friend Hunter Bale.
Thank you, Eros. The Great Galactic War was a conflict between the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire. This war raged on from 3681 BBY to 3653 BBY, a total of 28 years. This war was retaliation against the Galactic Republic by the Sith Empire for their defeat in the Hyperspace War nearly 1300 years prior. The Siths returned, permanently planted their flag on Korriban, and in doing so, re-establishing it as their academy. The war would once end after a devastating attack on the Jedi Temple and the sacking of the Republic's capital planet of Coruscant, forcing the Republic to sign a treaty, leaving half the galaxy under the Empire's control and causing the Jedi to withdraw to their home planet of Tython. Back to you, Eros, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Bale. Happy hunting. Now, back to the Versalla family. Varen was a Jedi, trained in the great halls of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Layla was a Sith assassin trained by the Dark Masters on Dromund Kaas. At first, when they met on the battlefield, they were bitter enemies, but extenuating circumstances led them to become romantically tied. They fell in love, married, and abandoned their respective dogmas and lived their lives walking the lines between freedom and serenity. And now, they had a family. Layla and Nim lived happily under their parents' care. Their lives away from the galaxy and its troubles were simple. They spent their days helping their parents as they could, even though they were young, playing with neighbors and chasing wild parrot through the fields. Their lives were almost picturesque. Until Varen and Layla noticed something. For such young children, their reflexes developed quickly. Too quickly. It was as if they were seeing things before they happened. Layla and Varen then realized what they had feared was happening. Their children were both developing a connection to the Force, and it was a strong one. This alarmed them, and they tried their best to come up with solutions. Layla and Varen knew having the children suppress their abilities was not an option. Doing so would cause them great suffering in the future, and without training, they would be a danger to themselves and others. The answer was clear. They must be taught. But the question was, where to send them? Layla wanted to send them both to the academy on Korriban. She knew who had been put in charge of the academy, and she knew that she could assure Nim and Layla's survival. To a point. But Varen wouldn't have it. He knew that training at the academy was a gamble, and if the Overseer found out that they were siblings, it would prove more to their detriment than an advantage. Of course, Varen wanted to send them both to the Jedi Temple, but Layla refused to let them go. Layla knew the process of Jedi training, and she refused to lose both of her children and see them turned into emotionless vessels. They were at an impasse. They argued all through the night trying to think of a solution. By the time the sun rose, Layla had found one. Layla would take Layla to the Sith Academy, and Varen would take Nim to the Jedi Temple, and both of them would look over their children in secret. When the twins were 6, Nim was whisked away from his sister and taken away to the Jedi Temple. Layla was devastated and alone. Her brother's absence left an empty void in her life. She became introverted and withdrawn. She filled her mind with books and stories of old. She took in so much of them that she even started to talk like them, using strange words like thee and thou and other outdated old vernacular. This confused her parents in addition to everyone else she would meet for the rest of her life. This continued until she was 16. Then, Layla put her plan in motion. In the dead of night, her mother stormed into her room and pulled her from her bed. Layla kicked and screamed in protest and asked her mother what she was doing, but Layla stayed silent. Layla dragged the girl to their family ship and began the long, silent flight to Korriban. Once they had arrived, and Layla was set to enter, Urza spoke the final words she would say to her daughter for over 20 years. Anger is a symptom of fear, Layla. In this place, there is no shortage of fear. Take yours and hold it tight until the fires of rage burn your hands. Thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Darth Eros and follow me on Twitter for more updates. Retor Shimi, and may the Force serve you well.